Okay, today we are interviewing the founders of Atticus, that is Lester Tay and Miguel de Buncio, and we explore their experience, their backgrounds, their MBAs, their overseas work with foreign corporations, and now their experience here with Atticus and how that can help you in your business.
All right, so my name's Lester. Hello, I'm the managing director for the company. Before doing this business, I was living in London doing my MBA. I worked there for 2 years in the pharmaceutical industry, and then my last role was in Singapore in the private equity field. And then while I was overseas, I just met a guy from Australia, and he told me, "Hey Lester, why don't you set up a BPO?" And I've always wanted to do business, and so without knowing how to do business, I left my very comfortable job, resigned from that, and then came back home. And then so we started with one person in a very small office, and I was doing everything: the sales, the HR, the accounting. We had a team of one, so can you imagine that when we have a team building, it's not even a team building, it's like a date. But now we're very fortunate that we've grown from that one person all the way to almost 70, and that first client is still with us. So it's been a blessing, and of course, we have more people now to help me. So it's not a date anymore. So it's a proper team building.
So I, on the other hand, I've been a sales professional all my life. I started my career with Nestle, Philippines. Did the rounds, saw the whole country, and really focused on the customer, like providing and selling to the needs of the customer. From Nestle, I also left the Philippines to take my MBA at UVA Darden. And then after Darden, I stayed for a while in corporate, got bored, didn't really like living in Atlanta, and came back home to set up a business. And it's funny, the business that I decided to start was a fitness business. So it's not your usual path from MBA to fitness gym business, but then I was able to grow that branch network to around 9 branches, and I exited that 2 years ago. And in the process of exiting, I was reconnecting with friends and connected with Lester, who was my office mate back then at Nestle. And I think at that time he needed help to grow. And I felt that there's huge opportunity in the BPO industry here. Contrary to what people say, I think it's still growing, it's still evolving, and I saw the potential and decided to invest in the business. And from there, I think we're slowly growing, slowly finding our niche, and hopefully helping other startups as well grow. Atticus, I think right now, like a startup, right? It's constantly evolving. Last year, we decided that to focus on the B2B outbound sales space to help startups and SMEs. Why? Because a startup, we've also invested in a startup, and for that startup, I think one of the problems that we're trying to solve is really how do you grow effectively and efficiently. And we've seen a lot of startups in the US and Australia hire and spend a lot of money on business development teams, but now it's all about being efficient, spending a little bit more wisely. And where we come into play is how we help them with offshore staff to enable their business development teams on ground and grow faster and more efficient and spend wiser.
Yeah, for me, I think we've been very fortunate that personally, I was able to go overseas, have a great education. So ever since, I've always wanted a business that can be a platform for personal growth for people. So for me, Atticus is just a way to develop really good, world-class, globally competitive people. And so that after they leave our company, they can be employable anywhere. So basically, I want them to, when people come here, we want them to leave being better employees, better people as well. and be more competitive with other people in the market. And the way that we can do that is actually educating them on how we were educated overseas, um, in terms of how we think and how we behave. And I think when we do that, I mean, we'll be able to develop really good people.
And I think to add on to what Lester mentioned, right? The real goal of Atticus is to eliminate that distinction between a remote staff and someone um, who's based in the US or Australia. And coming from our background, like what Lester mentioned, it's being exposed to top-notch education, being exposed to travel, being exposed to a certain mindset. And that's what we want to share with our employees, right? It's really bringing that level up to becoming a world-class employee so that there's really no distinction whether you're a remote staff that's working in Manila. So I guess the why is, again, you want to grow. You're pressed for growth, right? You only have X amount of dollars that you can spend on salespeople. So now if you really want to grow efficiently, I think the strategy of having a combination sales strategy of onshore and offshore makes the best sense, right? You're doing all the legwork. Like what we're trying to propose to startups is we'll do all that lead gen preparation work for your business development teams, which takes maybe 40 to 50% of typical on-ground business development representative in the States, right? And BDs in the States are super expensive, and just relieving them of that tedious task of researching the leads, pre-qualifying them, we help them become more efficient and book them appointments that are pre-qualified and quite warm, so that they become so they'll spend less time on administrative research and tedious tasks of researching their leads and be able to immediately sell the product to the customers.
For me, very simply, it's just access to great people. I mean, I'm very, I would say, I'm very proud of being Filipino. And when I was working in London, I remember that in the hospitals or in some of the big companies, when Filipinos go there, they actually excel. They work hard. They very diligent people. They're very honest. And outsourcing just allows these companies from the US, from the UK, to have access to these really good people. And personally, our role is just to connect them, but also to provide that environment for these people to excel.
So first we show them what our clients have done. Usually for someone who's a little bit hesitant, we show them a case study of our current clients. And if they want to test it out, we're small enough and flexible enough to hire just one employee. And for them to see, like, what are the results, how great our talent is compared to onshore staff. And so slowly they'll be more open to the idea once they see the results. And that's how we really start with most customers. We'll start out with, we have several clients here who just start out with one person. And then from after 3 months, they'll say, oh, this is something that I can really scale, right? Because there's no loss of skills, communication. We're always providing training for upskilling in terms of communication. And of course, the English is pretty good here for the workforce in Manila.
Yeah, for me, it's the same. But I guess if I were to structure it, bottom line, both of us were corporate people who became entrepreneurs. And I believe that a lot of the business right now are run by entrepreneurs who probably think like us. So we understand, at least from the mindset, where they're coming from. So how do we guide them? First is we understand what they do as a business, coming from that entrepreneurial mindset. Second is understand where they want to take it. And third is how can we support them through remote staff? I mean, of course, in any business, the first is actually generating sales. So that's where Miggy comes in. But at some point, it's actually becoming more operationally excellent. So that's where I come in. So again, it's that having that same entrepreneurial mindset that we guide them through this journey as well.
And I guess at the very start, right, they'll be talking to either me or Lester. So it's really founder to founder chat of really like what Lester said, really understanding where you're coming from and where you want to go with offshoring.
So our goal is when customers use us, it is as if they have the employees here are their employees. So number one, we're very transparent with the salaries of the people here. Number two, we're very transparent with how much we charge as a fee for the facilities and for all the support work and all the training and development. So that's how we do the pricing, as if they employ the people, so everything's transparent.
In a nutshell, it's basically based on the skills or type of person they need, how much is that salary, plus our management fee, and that's how much monthly you'll be paying us. I think the secret sauce is, as entrepreneurs, we're very hands-on with the business, right? We get commended by our clients that it's like we're recruiting for our own business. So it's very boutique-ish feel. And I think small businesses like that they're speaking to owners. We are involved in the processes, and we always have the customers in mind. Like, we always have the founders or the companies in mind whenever we hire, whenever we work on added value services. Well, first, I guess it's to do your research, right? It's really being able to connect with the offshoring center and seeing if your goals and values are aligned. It's like you're hiring someone onshore, right? Well, the first things you ask are you a cultural fit? And I think that's the best advice we can give startups or SMEs. Just see which offshoring firm shares the same values, and see how it fits your own values, and are they able to grow with you as you plan to scale in the future. Well, I guess our international experience allows us to put ourselves in their shoes, because we were there, right? We've worked for international companies. We are blessed to be able to go to top-notch MBA schools and be exposed to people who are eventually founders. Right? My classmates are founders of different companies. They're directors, and we're able to put ourselves in their shoes and really think about what type of people they want, what quality they want, what type of service they want, and that just allows us to partake that knowledge onto our firm.
I mean, I think there's two hesitations sometimes. One is the skill set, and the other is the personality, or if they have the same values. And I don't know. I think Miggy answered the question really well, so I can't add on to that.
And plus, I think just to, if they're worried, right, they're dealing with us, right? They can put a face, like mine and Lester's face, to the company, and they can do their background checks. We have a pretty wide network internationally, and if they're a little bit hesitant, it's all about references, right? And they're able to check within our network, like how we work and who we are, and we're not gonna run away with their money.
Yeah, the best way is to fly to the Philippines, and then we'll show them a good time, I think.